Hey third grade, if you're watching this video, you're ready for the next steps on your landscape. I've gone ahead and made sure that I have my sky, middle ground, and foreground chalked up and ready to go. Double check you haven't missed any spaces along your edges. If you did, go back and fill those in with a little bit more chalk. If I'm ready to go ahead and do some clouds, mountains, or rocks, here are the techniques you want to use to go ahead and get started. Some of these you might not use. It really just depends on what goes in your landscape. First step, I'm going to start with my clouds. You've got a couple different size papers that are up on the front table to help you with this, but I should not go ahead and take a mountain paper for a cloud paper. Mountains are much longer, they should be a longer paper. Clouds are shorter, they should be a smaller paper. So since I'm working on clouds, I'm going to go ahead and grab one of those papers. Now, I'm going to show you some good clouds and some bad clouds, and hopefully those will help you make the right choice on your own paper. So if I'm taking one paper, you really don't need to take two. I'm just doing two to share with you good versus bad. I always want to start at the bottom of my paper, and this is one way I could draw a cloud. Now, what's bad about this cloud is I have to cut it out. Those bumps are going to be very hard, and my cloud's also very flat. I want to try to make that cloud reach up like a rainbow almost. So I'm starting in the corner again, but this time much bigger arch, much bigger arch, much bigger arch, and all the way down to the other side. Really nice cloud shape, easily something I can cut out. It's a little bit higher and taller than this cloud. If I wanted to, I could also go ahead and put my cloud upside down and do a second cloud. That would be okay with me as well. So maybe while I have some extra space, backup cloud number 2. That one's not as perfect, but still good. Alright, so if I have these, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and cut out my cloud now. So I'm going to grab some scissors from my pencil bucket, and I'm going to cut on my pencil line. Now here's one. I'm going slow and careful as I turn so my cloud is nice and round. 2, 3, and 4. Alright, so when you cut out your cloud, you have your cloud, that's the object you're making, and then you have your scraps. This is your positive space. My object is positive. My leftovers are called negative spaces. So for clouds, we use the positive space. For your rocks, you use negative space. I'm going to leave this over here. If I want to use this rock or cloud later, I can. So I'm on a placemat right now. I'm not on my project. I'm going to pick what color I would like my clouds to be. Now I want to think about what will show up on the color I've chosen for my blue sky. So yellow might not be the best choice because if I look at the color wheel or know my colors, I know that yellow plus blue equals green. Maybe I don't want green clouds. Maybe I want my clouds to be gray. Maybe I want them to be purple. Maybe I want them to be green. That's totally acceptable. But think about what would look best on your blue paper. Not sure? You could talk to a neighbor, see if they have an opinion, or use the color wheel. I think for my clouds, I'm going to use purple. And I'm going to choose a darker purple color so that I can see it on my blue. I'm going to use my chalk and I'm going to be focusing on the flat edge to help me do this. And I'm tracing with that chalk around the edge. I'm not coloring in the whole cloud, but I want to make sure I have a nice outline of chalk. So if you look at my cloud, that's how it looks right now. I'm going to take my chalk and my cloud, place it in my sky where I'd like it to go. I'm going to hold one hand on my cloud, one finger. I'm going to put my finger inside, drag up and away, up and away, up and away. When I'm here, I pick up my finger, move it back down, up and away. I am not scrubbing like a toothbrush. That will ruin your cloud. Up and away, up and away, up and away. And I'm making sure I'm doing the whole edge of my cloud. Up and away, up and away, up and away. And I've got these really beautiful cloud outlines in my sky. I can go ahead and do it again. Grab my cloud, grab my chalk, put some more chalk on the edge. And repeat. I think I'm going to put another cloud over here. Okay, so I've got 2 clouds. Maybe I want to put a 3rd cloud in the middle. Really your choice. I'm ready to go ahead and move on to that next step. Since I'm done with my cloud, I can go ahead and throw this in the recycle. Next thing I'm going to do are some mountains. So I'm going to go ahead and go find a mountain paper and bring it back to my seat. Now, as I'm working on my mountain paper, I want to remember I am going to have to cut out my mountains. So I want to make sure that I'm making nice, easy mountains to cut out. Mountains usually aren't perfect triangles, so I'm going to go ahead and make mountains that look like this. And my mountains, like my clouds, start at the bottom, go up, over, down, and back to the corner. So I've got a good shape happening right now. I'm going to cut on my line. Even this line's kind of hard, and it's not even that wiggly. So remember, make it easy for you to cut. Don't make it too complicated. Okay, now, when we did our clouds, we used the cloud, the positive space. When we do mountains or rocks, we do not use this. We're going to use the negative space or the background behind it. So I'm going to take this and put it to the side since I don't need it. Now I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to use chalk on the edge here. And a color that would show up, a neutral color would be great. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work with some brown, I think. So I'm going to take my hand, I'm just using the chalk to go ahead and chalk right here, right there. I'm using the flat side of my chalk right now. It doesn't have to be very beautiful. It's kind of messy, and that's okay. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take my mountains. I'm going to decide where they need to go. I think they're going to be on my horizon line. Now I'm looking, this mountain is going way down. I think I need to trim my mountain a little bit so he makes a little bit more sense for my horizon line. I think I want to trim this a little bit more too. I think that fits a lot better. So now I'm ready to go ahead and chalk. So this time I'm going to hold above. I'm going to use my finger and I'm going to drag down towards the center. Not up and away, down and in. But I don't want to go under my horizon line. So I'm going to make sure I'm controlling my finger as I'm dragging. Doing short little drags. And I'm going to try to make sure I'm getting by my horizon line. I can wiggle my finger back and forth. That's the hardest, trickiest part. So I'm just dragging down, 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 tiny, tiny, tiny little strokes. Wiggle, 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 back and forth. If I pull this up, you can see my mountains are starting to show up, which is really, really cool. So I'm dragging, 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 wiggle, 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 dragging, 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 wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Now, this mountain's really tall, so I have to do a lot more dragging to get that chalk down where I want it to. So don't be afraid to keep going and going and going, wiggling and wiggling and wiggling. And when I'm done, I have some mountains in the sky. So that's how you do clouds. That's how you do mountains. Tune in for our next video to learn how to do rock formations in your middle ground.